What's up, everyone? Welcome to Pat's Chat. Proud member of the CLNS Media Network. This show is brought to you by Prize Picks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Michael Hurley, how are we doing today?
I'm doing great, Doug. I'm ready to talk about the season finale of Task, the HBO miniseries starring Mark Ruffalo. What a program.
It was a good program. Don't think we should give any spoilers, though. This is not Task Chat. This is Pat's Chat.
It could be Task Chat. I'm doing well, Doug. I just, as you had to, the people listening don't know this. You just had to witness me eating a Cliff Bar in my microphone, which is repulsive. So tough start of the day for you, but good one for me.
What's that called? There's some word for like a fear of hearing people chewing.
Oh, well, mastication would be the chewing. So maybe mastophobia. Is that a word?
No.
Let's learn things.
Misophonia. It's
misophonia.
Yeah.
Oh, mastophobia is something way different.
I do not have misophonia. I don't know about masophonia.
I actually do have whatever you just said, because if I hear someone chewing, I'm just kind of like, I need to go for a walk. So anyways, Doug, answering your question, Patriots. Having a great day. How are you?
Wow. I'm doing all right. Yeah. It's early, but good day so far.
Well, your Mariners have lost since we last spoke, so I apologize for that. We were just griping about their many, many mistakes in Game 7 against the Blue Jays. So tough one.
Number one was giving up a home run to George Springer. Can't do that.
You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't bunt to bring up your 8 and 9 hitters. If you're a superstar center fielder, you shouldn't swing at pitches 16 feet out of the zone. A lot of mistakes there. But Doug, I have a football-related question to the Mariners.
Perfect.
What did you make? And this is a tough spot for sports fans, so I don't know that I have the answer. What did you make of the Mariners fans who went to the Seahawks game wearing their Mariners gear and like maybe watched on a phone? I don't know. Game 7 of the ALCS feels like I got to skip football then or go to football late. It just feels like a tough spot to be in.
It's a very tough spot to be in, especially since that game started at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Mariners game started at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So like you're still going to get pretty much 2 hours of uninterrupted football by going.
Yeah.
Feels a little weird to just go an hour late. So
I'd watch in the concourse probably. I think that's the solution. Because Boston fans did have to deal with this for a long time. You had like the Red Sox would move game times because the Celtics were in the finals and stuff. Like there's
because like the Seahawks are good. It's not like the Seahawks are a bad team.
Yeah.
And obviously Seahawks fans take a lot of pride in their Seahawks fandom.
Do they?
The 12s.
Do they give themselves a nickname and buy all sorts of tchotchkes?
They do. So I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
Who was watching the Mariners game, didn't really want to watch the Blue Jays celebrate, and then flipped over the Seahawks game, and then was immediately reminded of what I just watched in the Mariners game. I didn't love that, but I can understand from a news perspective. Like, it was a weird move because anyone who was flipping over in that moment had just been watching the Mariners and knew exactly what happened.
And was a Mariners fan. Like Blue Jays fans were still watching the celebration. So it could have been a little bit more sensitive there from Monday Night Football's B crew.
Yeah.
So you can send your letters to ESPN, Bristol, Connecticut. Anyways, an interesting dynamic there at play. And I was just wondering, like, what do you do? Because I assume Monday Night Football tickets pretty pricey out there. They actually got to play at a nighttime game, which doesn't usually happen out there. So it was a tough one. It's a tough spot to be in. But I guess if they lose and you're at the football game, you're like, oh, I've made the right decision because now I get to watch this and I can kind of ignore the pain and sadness inside of me.
Right. You can start getting distracted a little bit. Maybe come out of there with some sort of happiness when the Seahawks win.
It's like, that's not real. They didn't actually lose because I wasn't watching. So it doesn't count. See you next year.
Watching on a phone doesn't count. Yeah.
Nope. It doesn't.
Was that your initial take, or did you have a Patriots one too?
No, I actually have a lead thought today for our podcast. That was not it.
5 minutes in, a lead thought.
I was thinking about where the Patriots are and how they're 5-2. And I mean, the conversations naturally are going all sorts of ways. Drake May MVP, Patriots #1 seed, all these things. And it's like, obviously it's a little bit premature, but I was trying to itemize in my head why they are better than we anticipated. And I
Right.
kind of power rank them in my head, and I want to run it by you.
Okay.
Number one, I think, is obviously Drake May ascending rapidly, and that's
Yes.
been covered 16 different ways. He's breaking Tom Brady 2007 records in franchise history. It's like that much is obvious. He is. We expected steps this year, and even from I've said this before, even from weeks 1 through 3, he's taken massive steps. So it's not like year 1 and year 2. It's like he is rapidly rising. So most important position on the field. I don't think there's not to toot my own horn. I don't think there's any debating that one is number one.
I agree.
Number two, I debated in my head number 2 and 3. But number 2, ultimately, I'm going to go with Stefon Diggs being so involved in the culture and the drive and just the spirit of the offense. I don't know about you. I was skeptical of the signing because of, if they run into bumps, if there's problems, if he's not getting the ball, is he going to be chewing out Drake May on the sideline? You don't want that. He has not just not done that. He has not just contributed. I mean, week 7. I thought last week would have been his first game of the year. I thought he was going to start on PUP. Instead, he's at, let me see, 456 yards so far. Hasn't found the end zone, but
I know it's pretty wild.
Touchdowns are hard to score. But not just the contribution. That's about 400 yards more than I would have guessed he had at week 7 because most people don't play so soon after 20. But the player has been really good. But just it seems like he is a much needed emotional driver of the offense. And when he didn't get the C, remember it was like, oh, well, he's not really going to be elite. He is, I think, the only one who's got like the been there, done that on the offense. And I think he's been so significant. So he is my number 2.
So my number 2 would be Mike Vrabel, but I can totally understand Stefon Diggs being number 2 just because he has been so much better than anyone expected. He's been a great leader. He's on pace for over 1,000 yards. He's been what you would have been looking for regardless of who you added or signed in the offseason so far. Like if you're looking at a Chris Godwin or a Terry McLaurin or a DK Metcalf, like you want them to be at this point, and he's there, and he cost less. You didn't have to give up a draft pick. There was risk. There was risk about the knee. There was risk about what he's done in other places. There's even just the risk of like, this is a big personality to add to the locker room. How's that all going to gel? Overall, I think the personality aspect has wound up being much more of a positive than any sort of distraction or negative.
For sure. And yeah, like people, I think that wide receiver room, I kind of anticipated. And I guess the lead of my number 2 here is that I'm a jackass. So fair enough. My guess or summation of what that receiver room was going to look like was going to be Diggs was going to be the man, and he was going to be on his own island, and then there was going to be everyone else kind of looking up to him and trying to emulate whatever they could. But he seems to actually really have this sort of camaraderie building ability within him that I didn't know. So I think that, because when you look at, if we talk, trade deadline and all that, obviously, like we talked about this Sunday, someone asked a question like, am I nuts for wanting Booty over Olave? And it's like, that's a question you would have never presumed you'd be asking. And I think it's all part of what Diggs brings to the table.
I think that's totally true. Yeah. The last time you would have been asking yourself that question would have been like, when was Booty's freshman year at LSU, or like when he was a 5-star recruit, like 2018?
Yeah, probably 18.
2019, maybe 2020. We might be,
2019. I don't know. That time of the world never happened, as far as I'm concerned. So.
He was a freshman at LSU in 2020. So, when was Chris Olave drafted? This is just Doug
probably 21.
He was drafted in 22. So
I was close.
Yeah, that could have been a valid question in 2020.
I guess
this offseason shouldn't have been. Now, very legitimate question, because you know what Kayshon Boutte adds to this team and what he provides. You don't know what it looks like if Chris Olave joins. Maybe it's way better, but it could be not as impactful.
You know what's crazy? This is a quick aside, because I know Boutte has caught 20 of the 25 passes thrown his way. The catch percentage on all these, and it's obviously Drake May has been insanely accurate. He's thrown to Stefon Diggs 44 times, and he's caught 39 of them.
Stefon Diggs has the highest catch rate in the NFL out of
And
wide receivers.
Booty has the highest depth of reception. I saw this. I have to give credit to Curran and Phil in their podcast. They had the leaders, like where they actually, not per reception, but where it's actually caught.
Oh, yeah.
Booty is the largest by, I think, 4 yards.
Wow.
So it's like he's only catching 19-yard and plus passes.
While we're doing stats, Drake May has a higher completion percentage on deep passes than overall passes. his completion percentage on deep passes is 77 point something, and his completion percentage overall is 75.2. It's obviously to some degree unsustainable because like eventually a defender will get a hand on the ball or like something's going to happen. There's going to be a drop. But like as of now, it's just very fun to watch and you should just appreciate what you're seeing.
Yeah. It's also going to get like cold and windy in November and it's a lot harder to do.
It was pretty windy in Nashville, I'll say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he said perfect weather, but I guess he's just a baller. So there's only 2 receivers that have what you would consider bad catch percentages, and you can probably guess who they are. One has only had 5 targets. He's a rookie. His name's Kyle Williams. And then the other's Pop Douglas has caught 13 of 23 passes thrown his way, which is maybe normal. But
it's so wild though, because like a lot of it is short stuff.
Yeah. And one of them was from Josh Dobbs. So it's really 12 of 22. Anyways, that brings me to my number 3 point, Doug. And I'm still not at Mike Vrabel as much as I think Vrabel's done a great job.
Wow.
A saying I just came up with, it's Jimmy's and Joe's, not X's and O's. And I'm going to lead with one person, but it's really the unit. And the one person would be Will Campbell being a rock solid NFL left tackle, because it kind of came up yesterday. Were you at his locker when he was talking?
No, I actually wasn't.
So he was asked basically, do you want to just kind of shove it in people's faces for, proving them wrong or whatever? And his attitude is so unique.
Yeah.
And I hate the word refreshing because it makes you sound like a douchebag. Like, oh, I needed to be refreshed after. Like, I hate that. But there's something I like about the way that he exudes his thoughts, if that makes sense, which is like, I never really cared about that. Like, and it's believable. Like some guys say, like, I don't listen to the noise, and that they're listening to the noise. And he's not even saying that. He's just saying like, I heard it, but like, I don't care, because you can tell he's.
Me.
Yeah, you can just tell he's kind of a bulldog. You can tell he's like a worker. You could tell he's in the weight room. You can tell he's in the film room, and it's paying off. And I think he's not taking a victory lap or anything. He's just sort of so self-confident that he believed this was going to happen that I think if that were not the case, if they had a left tackle who was as bad as many guessed based on arm length, then this offense wouldn't look like this, and you're probably not looking at 5-2. And again, that's the whole unit has been above average, which is better than I think they were looking at the 32nd offensive line in the league last year. You and I talked, we're probably, can they get to 20th? That'll be good. They're much better than that. But I think Will Campbell is like the linchpin in that.
Yeah, like they might not be as high as certain places rank them, but just the fact that the Patriots, I believe, currently are 3rd in pass blocking efficiency metric on PFF just shows you how much it's improved. They have allowed, the offensive line itself has allowed 5 sacks this season. And Drake May's been sacked like 22 times or whatever. But
is that a lot of like May not finding him and breaking free and running to the sideline, basically? Okay.
Yeah, or it's him basically like moving into a sack in the pocket.
I've seen that for sure.
He's done that. He's run out of bounds for a 1-yard loss. He started to scramble and lost yards. Trevion Henderson's allowed a sack. Hunter Henry's allowed a sack. But overall, I think Wilson's at 2 right now. Campbell's at 2. And then someone else is allowed a sack as well. And Andrew even went back and watched his own, looked through his own charting, and he was right there with PFF with 5 sacks allowed by the offensive line. So say what you will about them overall. They're obviously still allowing some pressure at times, but it's been very good. My number 3 is, I'm not at Will Campbell yet, because number 3 for me after May and Vrabel is the Patriots free agent additions, which obviously includes Stefon Diggs. But just overall, what a class so far. And obviously things could still turn, but Stefon Diggs has been incredible. Milton Williams has been a huge addition in the middle of the defense. Robert Spillane has been a huge addition in the middle of the defense. Garrett Bradbury and Morgan Moses both playing better than I think anyone would have expected at this point and staying more durable, knock on wood. Carlton Davis has been fine at cornerback. There's
Mac
other
Hollins, the
guys.
guy that everyone was pissed about all
Who is
summer.
that?
Mac Hollins.
Mac Hollins has been decent. Caleb Von Chason,
Mm-hmm.
your reigning AFC Defensive Player of the Week
Mm-hmm.
with 2 sacks and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Clearly, there's still a need there at edge defender, but he's been
Hey.
more than you had anticipated in that role. Harold Landry's been good.
Add one. Well, Landry's a good call. He probably should have been mentioned earlier. Add one more to the list. Joshua Dobbs.
Your player of the game from week 7.
That was a big play.
Did you hear Drake May say the same thing?
I did.
I think he called it a play of the day.
I called
He
it
didn't
the play
cite
of the
you.
game.
He should have cited you.
I know. I'm used to it. I'm like the tastemaker in town. I started the Edelman Hall of Fame debate, and here we are years later. People are still doing it. So it is what it is. That's a good call, though.
For me,
yeah, that's kind of a
free
cheap
agent class.
That's kind of cheap. You know, you kind of cheated.
It is kind of cheap, but I'm just trying to encapsulate everything. And then the draft class would probably be number 4 because Will Campbell's been a huge aspect there. Craig Woodson's been a starter.
Kicker's all right.
What was that?
Kicker's all right.
Joshua Farmer's made some plays. Obviously, Trevion Henderson and Kyle Williams doing less than you would have anticipated at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is. Campbell's been good enough that it doesn't fully matter. I got a mailbag question this week that felt like it was straight out of August 7th because someone asked me if the Patriots should try to find a franchise left tackle and move Will Campbell to the left guard. And I'm just like, in all respect to this person, I was like, no, he's like on PFF. I know PFF isn't the end all be all, but they watch every player. They watch every play. They're watching the Chargers right tackle, and I'm not doing that. Will Campbell is 20th among tackles in pass blocking grade, and I think 25th or 28th, something like that, in overall grade. He has been an average to above average left tackle. You're not going to be picking number 4 overall, clearly, next year. What is the path to a franchise left tackle other than the one that you currently have? So, no, I'm looking for a guard or left guard or center in the future. I'm not looking for a left tackle. Campbell showed me enough at this point that I'm confident with him being there for the next however many years.
You ever go to send an email and like you close your email program before it sends? It's possible that person wrote that in August and then just fired up the laptop for the first time in months and it just shot out. So
shot out.
No shame.
I can read the full question if that would help this person. I won't name any names. But I know PFF grades tell one story, but is Pat's offensive line getting bailed out by Drake's athleticism? Will Campbell has been fine, but seems like if Pats can get a blue chip left tackle this offseason, they should do it and let Campbell play left guard. No, I'm not.
No, he's been good there, and frankly, like he hasn't looked like a guard. I know that was sort of the backup plan,
right?
He doesn't play like a guard that's out at tackle. Like we saw, like you watched Joe Tooney last year.
Right.
And it's like a fish out of water.
No,
and you're like,
Campbell's
he shouldn't be doing this.
Tackle his whole goddamn life, basically. So
yeah, he actually did. I think it was Dan Roach asked him yesterday, like, is it too soon for us to joke with you about the short arm stuff? And he was like, I don't want to do a Will Campbell accent because I haven't listened to him enough. But it was basically like, nah, it was never too soon. And someone actually sent me a T-Rex toy, and I thought it was pretty funny. So it's like he's aware of it, you know. But I found that pretty funny. But he doesn't play like a guard at all.
I think overall with the offensive line, clearly you would have liked a little bit better in the run game, even though I'm still blaming the running backs over the offensive line. But Campbell overall, you'd like to see a little bit more progress in run blocking.
Yeah, but I also would push back a little on that and say, yes, you'd obviously like them to be good at run blocking and pass blocking, but I think everyone agreed going into the year, it's like the number one thing they need to fix is protecting the quarterback, the young quarterback, and then you sort of build from there. So the fact that they did work on that, like remember last year, anytime any opponent ran any sort of stunt, it was an automatic sack. It was just like they were perplexed, and they've gotten beat by a couple, but it's taken a little bit more. Like the one this week when, sorry, my heat just kicked on. Boy, is it loud. there was one free rusher that ran up the gut at May. I'm trying to remember what play it was, but it was a delayed blitz from the middle linebacker, basically. And when you got caught, with no one to block, so he helped out to his left, and then all of a sudden the guy's zooming by him, and it's like, all right, it worked, but it wasn't. It wasn't the traditional just a tackle and stunt where someone loops in and has a free run of the quarterback.
Yeah, it's looked cleaner. There's still times when they're struggling with it a little bit, but even just thinking about this offensive line in the middle of the summer and imagining that they would be here at this place right now would have been very unpredictable. So they're in a good spot. We'll talk about how this is potentially going to be their biggest test overall, but let's talk about our sponsor first, and that is Prize Picks. Michael,
Yes.
I put together a small little Prize Picks lineup for Sunday's game against the Browns, actually.
Really? So this
I
is
want to
going
ask
to
you
be
about it.
this is going to be better than your debut last week, I hope.
It's going to be way better.
Okay.
All right. So Drake May, how do you feel about more than 1.5 passing touchdowns?
It's tough because
It
the
is.
Browns obviously present a lot more challenge, but the way things are going and the way things are flowing, I'm gonna lean more, but I would hope you'd be rewarded for such confidence because it's a real defense they're playing.
It is. How do you feel about Drake May more than 24.5 rush yards?
Oh, I love that every week because that's basically one play.
Yeah, he had 60 something last week. I'd be surprised if it drops into the mid 20s.
It's just only natural when you throw out like three decent receivers and a decent tight end, and even if like Travion Henderson's in the backfield, defenses are going to lose track of Drake May, who's sneaky fast. So I like the more on that one. No doubt about it.
And the other thing with that is it does feel like they're probably factoring in, okay, Drake May took a hard shot to the back of his head last week. Maybe he runs less. Maybe he's a little bit more careful. It's not really in Drake May's, I don't know, approach, not part of who he is as a human being. So I think he's still going to want to run. He might slide a little bit earlier, which I would advise him to do, but I like more than 24.5 rush yards. Here's the last one. Quinshon Judkins. So the Patriots have not allowed 50 yards to a running back so far this season. How do you feel about less than 72.5 rush yards from Judkins?
I think Judkins is going to have a nice little day because I just think that's going to be their offense. And
it is.
Can the Patriots contain it? Sure. But if they run it 30 times, I'm guessing he's going to get over that. What would you say, 82 yards?
72.5.
Oh, I'm going to go more there because
all right.
I would guess.
Well, I'm going under. I'm going less. I'm going less then.
You're a big believer in that run, and the run defense has been really good. I'm just saying, who else are they going to throw to, like to really get the offense rolling?
So download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. So we talked about it a little bit there.
Yeah.
Browns defense is very good. They rank top 5 in almost all of the advanced categories. So
number
EPA
1 in yards allowed.
What was that?
Number 1 in yards allowed, which
number
is
1 in yards allowed, number 3 in EPA per play, 3 in success rate, 8 in dropback EPA per play, 10 in dropback success rate, 2 in rush EPA, and 2 in rush success rate. So
number 1 in rush yards per attempt too. So
it does not feel like the same type of game as last week when the Patriots said to themselves, you know what, let's run the ball 4 times to start this game, pick up 38 yards, assert our dominance. I don't know if this is the same week to do that.
However,
yeah,
for as good as that defense, the offense is atrocious. So it's really a strange game where you have the 30th ranked offense, a team with a rookie quarterback. They rank 30th in passing yards, 31st in passing touchdowns, 25th in interceptions. I'm going to assume that means they have the 7th most interceptions. 28th in rush yards. Bad offense. So
very bad from like the typical statistics and from the advanced metrics. Rushing game quite a bit better overall than the passing game, but still like their offensive rush success rate is 29th That's
Yeah.
despite having Quinshon Judkins, who has looked very good so far this season. Dylan Gabriel doesn't offer much. He's not turning the ball over, but he just has not been necessarily like a weapon. He's just kind of been a guy back there.
I would agree with that. You also have that strange dynamic with, the quarterback situation where they traded Flacco.
Right.
Shadur Sanders is Shadur Sanders. And you have a Browns team that is 2-5 and heading into their bye week. So there's another factor in terms of, I don't know what they're going to bring. They did have a big win last week against Miami, which isn't saying much right now. So that's like another variable where they've been bad and they have that sort of light at the end of the tunnel and the bye week waiting for them. So I don't know. You could get on them early and turn it into one of those games. That's kind of a laugher, but I do think it'll be more challenging than last week.
Yeah, I think a hot start on offense and defense. Patriots preach it all the time, but it is so important in this game to make the Browns play from behind. If the Browns come out there, score on their first drive, Patriots have to kick a field goal, Browns score on their second drive, Patriots are playing catch up at that point. I think that's how you lose, because then I think that Myles Garrett and the rest of that Browns defense can pin their ears back, even though that's not a great term to use, not a accurate one.
You're a real son of a gun, you know that?
And get after Drake May, and I think that's when you run into some problems. With that Browns defense, Malik Collins, 30 years old, having like an Andre Carter-esque breakout season at 30 years old. Not what anyone really would have expected, but he's an issue. Obviously, Myles Garrett is an issue. There's Mason Graham is on that defense. I think we've talked about before, but do you start Jared Wilson at left guard in this game? Or do you pull Ben Brown off the bench and see if he can be a little bit better? Because Jared Wilson allowed 2 to 3 sacks last week. He's been the weak point of the offensive line so far. Ben Brown looked good in that game against the Panthers. Granted, it's the Panthers, not the Browns. But do you just make a slight tweak this week to see if he can shore up that one issue on the offensive line?
I don't think I'm ready to do that, but I probably have Ben Brown at the ready come the second quarter if things continue to trend downward for the rookie, because it's not killing them right now.
No, they're still winning, obviously.
And it's not like he's a disaster. We've seen disastrous players before. He's just having some bad reps. So I think you work with him and you try to improve. But I do think ultimately the health of the quarterback and the team is more important than satisfying your left guard's development every single week.
Right.
So
I think the development is a big factor. They've said multiple times, or there's been reports multiple times, that they're planning for the future as much as they are for the present. Yeah. So if they believe that playing Jared Wilson 16 games during his rookie season is going to help him develop into a better player in the future, that's what they want to do. But it can't reach a point where he is actively hurting your chances of winning and you have a better backup on the bench.
Yeah.
But I unfortunately, I kind of land right there with you, where you start Jared Wilson, and if he's getting destroyed by Malik Collins, and if Myles Garrett is running stunts on him on every other play and getting to Drake May, I don't think they should hesitate to make a move there.
Right. But
can't have another 2 to 3 sack game from Jared Wilson.
Yeah. Another phrase I just came up with is that progress is not linear. So I think there's going to be some ups and downs. And like if you were to grade out Jared Wilson, I don't know, you'd probably give him a C.
Right.
Which for a rookie mid-round pick in the starting right from day one, it's all right. You expect there's room for improvement. One thing I'm interested to see, and this ties into your prize picks selection. So many times we've seen defenses underestimate Drake May's speed, where he looks like he's jogging, but he's running faster than everyone.
Yeah.
There's going to be a moment Sunday where he's going to be running and Myles Garrett's going to be about 5 yards behind him. And you're going to, for the first time, probably see someone actually close the gap and maybe get him from behind. Yeah. So that's probably, and Drake May talked about it yesterday. You kind of always have to know where he is. He's one of those players, which there aren't that many in the league as a quarterback, where you have to be like, all right, every single snap I need to know where he is. And then I kind of probably need to glance and see what he's doing and what my escape avenues are, because he's going to disrupt most of them. So that is probably the biggest hindrance to Drake May running, is just even if he's not hitting him, I think he's going to maybe lead to more throwaways or bad decisions or rushes or speeding up the process, not rushing
Yeah,
the
I think
ball.
you got to get the ball out faster against the Browns than he's been doing so far this season. This really is obviously the Browns are not a great team overall, but it is a true challenge for the offense. It's a true challenge for the offensive line. It's a true challenge for Drake May. It's a true challenge for Kayshon Boutte and for I don't know the running backs. That this is a game where it's gonna look a little difficult at times. I don't know if they're as efficient in this game against the Browns as they have been for the first 7 games of the season, then I think you almost start talking about deep playoff runs. Because that tells you how good this offense
Yeah.
can be against the best teams.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like if they win 27-10 and they score on defense and special teams and the
Mm,
Browns fumble on their own 10 or whatever, you probably can't make those sweeping
right.
assumptions or conclusions. But if the offense goes out there and scores 3 touchdowns and a couple field goals, you can really look at it and sort of say, all right, like there is something here that is beyond just beating bad teams. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
100%.
I have
Trevian
some.
Henderson, do you think
Well,
he gets more than 9 snaps and 2 touches in this game?
I do, and I kind of buy what Vrabel was saying about the usage and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And now, granted, the performance hasn't forced the Patriots' hand at all. You know, at no point
Right.
has Henderson made them think they've got to play him more.
No.
But I do think he is just such a different. I don't think they've tapped into Travion Henderson yet, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
I get that, but I don't also know if I agree with it.
Well, think about all the maybe like how many screen passes have they thrown for him, and they were all bad early in the season.
Yeah.
I think they need to. I don't know. They weren't disguised. It was too obvious, and some of the runs. I don't know. You want him more in space than running between the guard and the tackle. I just feel like there's
Yeah.
more. There's more. It's not just him, I think, and they haven't really designed much for him, which makes sense. He's a rookie, but they're gonna want to design a few plays for him, I think, in
Yeah.
order to unlock him.
I agree. But I also think that they haven't done that because he has struggled. And I think that one of the issues with using Henderson, and I agree, I buy Vrabel's explanation that Ramondre Stevenson was playing well, so why take him out? But I also think that there's an element of predictability that we've talked about before when Trevion Henderson is on the field, where if he's on the field alone, if they're not in a pony set with Ramondre Stevenson, I feel like the defense can they can play a lot more aggressively, right? Because either Henderson's going to be running the ball and you can get upfield and try to stop him in the backfield, or he's not being trusted as a pass blocker, so he's going out in a route, and you can send a blitzer without a running back in there and get to Drake May faster, or he is staying in as a pass protector, and you know that you can beat him because he's struggled in that facet so far this season. So I think it just leads to the defense being able to play more aggressively when he's on the field because of the ways that you can't trust him. Whereas Ramondre Stevenson's on the field, I feel like the entire offense is unlocked for Drake May and Josh McDaniels.
Yeah, and I did mention this Sunday. It just feels like if I'm the head coach, which I'm not, unfortunately,
Yeah.
if I'm Mike Vrabel, that would be my midseason bye week project for Josh McDaniels
Yeah.
and the rest of the offensive coaching staff. Like, yeah, get away for a few days, but I want you to come up with some fresh ideas how to use this
Right.
weapon that
Yeah.
we have not used. And unfortunately for them, they don't have the bye week until Christmas season.
They do
So
have the Thursday night game in a couple of weeks, so that's a mini bye.
yeah, that's the 13th of November. So, but that's still 4 games away.
It is. I know, it's crazy.
And then, you come back against Cincinnati and against the Giants. So it'll be a while before they have a chance to go outside the scope of week to week game planning. So I
Yeah.
think that hurts in that development and will probably lead to more continuation. But you're right. It probably is. They did throw out of a under center formation last week, which was a nice twist.
Yeah.
They're going to need to mix things up more and be less predictable. And yeah, it is important because when Stevenson has a good game, you kind of just say, okay, solved. But then the Buffalo game happens and he fumbles in the first quarter, and you're like,
Right.
here you go again. So you kind of have to be a little bit more prepared for that.
I will say that there has been some box score watchers out there who say Terrell Jennings got more work than Trevion Henderson. So, well, it was garbage time.
Yeah, no. I didn't even know that. That's how much ball I know because I'm not looking at the box score. I'm a hand in the dirt, eye black smeared down my face kind of ball knower. I'm not reading the nerd stats.
But for the fantasy people out there who have been obsessed with Trevion Henderson's work usage, last week was a concern. Had two touches in a game.
Don't play fantasy football. Boom, solved your problems.
Yeah. I think for Patriots fans though too, like the people who wanted him to be this huge impact rookie who's breaking off big plays that we all thought was going to happen throughout the summer has not happened. Still waiting for it. And last week's game would lead you to believe that maybe that's happening later than sooner. But all it takes is one play. All it takes is one 50-yard run, 60-yard reception, run past the entire defense using his speed. I just want to see him play more comfortable. I want to see him be more decisive. It just seems like he's playing careful right now, and that's not the way to unlock and unleash him.
Right, and I'm checking now. This game will be broadcast on Fox with Chris Myers on the play-by-play and Mark Schlereth on the color. And what I'm saying is they're going to put it on the screen, Trevion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins.
Oh, for sure.
And they're going to juxtapose it. They're going to juxtapose it and say,
Juxtapose sounds like a Domino's.
It's a pizza and a cookie combined in one.
It's a
Pizzone.
Limited time offer from Domino's where they've stuffed a cookie into a pizza. It's a savory sweet snack. The juxtapose.
So that aside, they're going to put it on the screen and they're going to say, I don't know, Judkins might have been the better pick. What'd they go, like 3 picks apart from each other?
Yeah, and Judkins went before Henderson. So
right, but you still thought.
No, it's true.
I think in New England you kind of looked at it as like, oh, what a prize. And I did. And it still might be. But my point is, it's not going to hurt viewers as much as the Ladd McConkey graphics late in the season when it was just like, here's what the Patriots got instead of Ladd McConkey, who was in the midst of like a 400-yard game at Gillette Stadium. Yeah. So this one will just be ready for it. It will be on the broadcast, but it won't be the like knife to the gut that the last year's was.
Quieter season for Mr. McConkey so far.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Does he have the fantasy people upset? Let's see, Mr. McConkey.
I don't know. I mean, I've got him on one of my fantasy teams. So if the fantasy people are upset, then I would be one of them. But
37 receptions, 380 yards, 2 touchdowns. Well, the Chargers.
He's doing. I mean, Kayshon Boutt's had a better season than him so far.
The Chargers have a little. Kayshon Boutte, as we know, great story. The Chargers, they have their ups and downs. They looked pretty bad last week. So
Kayshon Boutte having a better season. Jalen Polk and Javon Baker not having a better season.
No. I have a stat for you. Where'd it go? Some crazy Dylan Gabriel stats. Have you looked at stats just as a starter?
I've looked at his stats.
He's been a starter for 3 weeks. He threw 33 passes his first game. He threw 52 his second when they lost 23-9 to Pittsburgh. And he threw 18 last week in a blowout win to Miami. But 3 games, 1-2 record. Completion percentage under 60% while throwing just 103 passes, which is not good. 527 yards in those 3 games. So that's 176 yards per game. 2 touchdowns, no picks. And he's run for 20 yards a game, but that's not much. It's just
sacked 10 times.
Very little output.
Yeah.
Despite a 50 pass game. So you should be able to. You think they can cover on the back end? Like this shouldn't be a major one of the major tests for the defense, but that is
5.66 yards per attempt. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Yeah. As a starter, it's 5.1. So it's been pretty bad. But to your point, you mentioned it earlier, and this is probably the number one key to the game, like number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Starting at 1 p.m. Show up at 1 p.m.
Yeah. Yes.
They have had issues. Like even last week, like everything was there for them. They knew it was on the line, and they came up flat and got smoked by Cam Ward and the Titans to start the game. And that's just kind of a trend that they haven't played well at home. and they haven't played well early. That has to be. I don't know how. Like, what do you do to solve that? You can't provide smelling salts anymore, but you could strongly encourage players to bring their own. I guess. I don't know. Slapping people in the face, like who was that Jaguars defensive lineman back on NFL Films 20 years ago, who had the coach slapping him in the face? Hit me again, Joe. Maybe you need a slap coach. I don't know the answer to this question, but they need to actually show up, get up early, and stay there because, I don't know, eventually it's going to catch up to you.
No, it definitely will. The other thing I would be worried about in this game as well, from a Browns offensive perspective, Harold Fannin and David Njoku. Patriots, I still don't trust them against tight ends. And Fannin's having a good season. And Njoku's been a good player for 10 years or whatever it is at this point.
He's a big boy.
Having two of those guys is tough.
Yeah. I'm just struck by how large Njoku's getting. I think they played in London, right? Did they have a London game?
What do you have? Too many bangers and mash out there?
Yeah, they lost to the Vikings out there. He had a hurdle over a man, and I was like, "Jeez, impressive that he got up that high." But he's a big fella.
He is a big fella. Yeah, I think that you're not worried about Dylan Gabriel. You're a little worried about Quinshon Judkins. Very curious to see if the Patriots defense can continue to have success in the run game, because you look at it on paper and you don't really think that would be that strong of a run defense. I think the fact that the Patriots have gotten out to early leads obviously helps. So that's the other big factor. Yeah, they have to show up at 1:00. Hopefully, sleeping in their own beds.
It's been a while.
Or whatever, being home this week helps, because they've gotten out to slow starts despite being road warriors on the road. And yeah, I don't know. Something has to change. You got to figure out why offenses can move the ball so easily on you over the first two drives.
I have a trivia question for you, which may not be fair because you do your, Cliff Bar, you do your homework. So you may actually know the number to the exact.
Unlike in high school.
Oh, were you a badass smoking cigarettes in the bathroom with your leather jacket?
I wasn't a big fan of homework. I don't know.
I did my homework. I just wasn't that smart, unfortunately. So if I told you that Jerry Judy, he's only 26 years old, which is crazy. Pro Bowler last year. Okay.
Yeah. If
I tell you that Jerry Judy has been targeted 52 times this year by Browns passers, Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel, 52 targets, how many receptions do you believe he has?
I was just looking at the Browns stats, but I did not pick up how many receptions he had. I saw that he did not have that many yards, however. He does not have as many yards as you would expect for a wide receiver who's targeted 52 times. I'm going to guess less than 26 catches.
That is correct. Would you like to put a number on it now that I've given you a little bit of a hint?
22.
That's exactly right, Doug. That
really?
is exactly right. So he's averaging under 5 yards per target.
That's crazy.
Isn't great. And yards per reception, 11.7, not bad. But when you're catching, what's the percentage there? I know it's less than half. I know that. It's 42.3% of your targets. That's
nuts.
For a receiver who's very good.
Do you know
that is a problem.
So Stefon Diggs is catching has more than twice that catch rate.
Was it 39 or 43?
He's at like 87%.
Yeah. Yeah, 42.3% is very bad. That's a problem.
Yeah, it really is. By the way, I think there's some construction going on outside my house, so I apologize too.
Can't hear it, Doug. 39 or 44, good. Diggs is.
So Diggs is at 88.6% catch rate. Booty being at an 80% catch rate when all of his stuff is downfield is absolutely absurd. He has a 14.2 yards per target. 14.2 per target every single time.
They're not throwing
you
screens
target Kayshon Boutte, you're picking up nearly a first down and a half.
Yeah. There's no, quick passes to Kayshon Boutte. There's no slants. There's no quick routes to him. Everything is at least a cover 2 hole shot.
One more stat about Stefon Diggs, just because it's on the top of my mind right now. 7 of 7 on contested catches for him so far.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. I don't know.
Yeah.
That part was never a concern for me, like contested catch. But I mean, 100% is pretty good.
Let's take a quick break again, and then we'll get to. So keep that point in the top of your head. Do you feel strongly about any other Patriots performers in this game?
Yeah, do we get to play tackles here on Prize Picks? Because I take the Robert Spillane more tackles, whatever the number is.
Let me check.
They're going to
There
run
might
quite
be.
a bit. That's where I would.
There's
That's where I would lean.
there's
How about? Yeah, I was
interceptions.
gonna say interceptions. Did you see Marcus Jones is the first player to do like 7 different things in the first 7 games of the year? So maybe he's the interception pick because
Well,
they're not going to throw at Gonzalez.
Do you like more than half an interception for Dylan Gabriel?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I might. I know he's not turning it over much, but this is going to be a tough one for him, especially if they're, as we expect, playing from behind.
You've been pretty good so far about predicting receivers. Have any opinions on receivers?
Like, am I getting a spidey sense? Like I got
Yeah.
the booty thing.
Yeah.
How about I think it's time for another Mac Hollins touchdown. It's been a while. It seemed to be an easy play there for them. Yeah, a little bit. It's been a while. I just feel like that seems to be when they're in the red zone, a play that's there for them whenever they want it, where they can just run Mac Hollins on like sort of an inside out route and he's going to be open.
So you're hitting more than half a rushing and receiving touchdown for Mac Hollins?
Yeah, I mean, you might as well just take the rushing right off of that. But yeah,
it's all included.
I'm
gonna throw one more in here.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry. Oh, never mind.
What?
So Hunter Henry is 5.5 receptions. I was gonna take less, but you can only pick more on that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a more guy anyway, so you might as well just adapt.
That is true. Kayshon Boutte, though, 2.5 receptions.
It's no sure thing.
I know. Stefon Diggs is 4.5. I'm gonna go with more for Stefon Diggs.
Okay, fair enough.
So that is one more lineup. And if you want to play Prize Picks, download the Prize Picks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, did you keep that thought in your head?
It's just more Judy stuff because I'm just fascinated by a very good player who had 1,200 yards last year.
This guy's judging Judy.
That's pretty good. The Browns last year were also not very good. They were quarterbacked by Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson and Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Not a great team. Jerry Judy, despite that, had 1,229 yards. This year he's on
62.1% catch rate.
Yeah. And this year he's on pace for 587 yards. So that tells you just how bad the quarterbacking has been. I believe. I don't think Jerry Judy suddenly stinks.
No.
So it's an opportunity for you to take advantage of a rookie quarterback who, I don't know, might not be for the NFL. Maybe he is. I'm not, I hope Mr. and Mrs. Gabriel aren't listening. Me besmirch their child, but it hasn't shown quite yet.
I have a question, and we'll wrap this up soonish, but most people downplay this, and for good reason, because it usually doesn't play a huge factor. But Mike Vrabel infiltrated the Browns offense last season.
Mm-hmm.
He was working with tight ends. He was working with offensive linemen. He was whatever his title was, special assistant, whatever, with the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows Kevin Stefanski pretty well. He knows what he wants to do on offense. He knows what they did last year. A lot of other Tommy Reese. I think there was some. I don't know if there was actual interest, but there was some. I don't know, connections there between him and the. Like, do you think that plays a factor? That Vrabel knows what the Browns want to do, tendencies, blah 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 on offense.
I mean, it doesn't hurt. I do think sometimes that institutional knowledge bit is overdone when, excuse me, when a player, that used to be on the Patriots joins the Jets a week before the game, like, oh, they're going to milk him for all the knowledge. This is obviously different because it's a coach.
Though, and like a guy like Vrabel.
I do think Vrabel probably picked up quite a bit. I do think the Browns are aware of that, though, and they're going to probably.
I would hope so.
lean away. They're like, oh, I knew I
Damn
recognized
it!
him
I
from
knew I
somewhere.
recognized that guy. Oh, he was here
Oh,
last year.
yeah,
Damn
he used to
it!
work right down the hall from
Oh
me.
my God, it's the same guy.
But yeah, he probably has a lot to offer the defensive players in terms of technique and approach with a lot
Right.
of the like that part can't be changed. Like this guy Brick comes off the line like this. This guy likes to get his feet here. You can probably have some good coaching points there. I think maybe play calling wise things have changed. You've got a whole different quarterback and everything like that. But yeah, no, it helps. I think of all the people that you would trust to retain a lot of that, Vrabel would be high on the list. So definitely a factor. I don't know that, but at the same time, Vrabel could have been on the beach in the Caribbean sipping Mai Tais last year, and I don't think this Browns offense would present much of a challenge for the Patriots. So
Right. I think that's fair. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely fair. But
yeah.
I think it plays a factor, and it's at least interesting to note. I'm sure that he would downplay it, but
Do you want the? I
he was in the
mentioned it.
building.
I want to pay off the Marcus Jones stat. Did you see the Patriots communications? They're full of nuggets this year.
Well, it's a brand new Twitter account.
Yeah. So Patriots cornerback Marcus Jones has registered 7 pass defenses, 5 tackles for a loss, 2 interceptions, and 1 sack this season. They started tracking tackles for a loss and pass defenses in 1999. Do you know how many people have done exactly that or more in the first 7 games of a season?
500.
Nobody else does.
What?
Yeah, you were off by 500. First player to ever do. I mean, granted, it's a really random selection of things, but it tells you. I
It's kind of
mentioned
it's a complete player right there. Yeah.
I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. The New Orleans game.
Wait, did they throw in punt return for a touchdown?
No,
There
that
we
would have
go.
really saved that one for another week. But I
Yeah.
mentioned after the Saints game, like sometimes he's going to give up receptions. He's short.
Yeah.
He's not thick. It's going to happen. But his competitiveness, I think, has really stood out this year. And I think that's why you're seeing sort of all of those different numbers in different areas of the game where he's just tenacious.
Yeah, he really is. It's been very good for them this year. I would say even considerably better than last year. I do wonder if they play more man coverage this week, because I think that would play to Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis's strengths a little bit more. But we'll find out. We'll see.
I'm kind of hoping like you get to see Christian Gonzalez do something because
I
it just
know.
feels like teams are just like, nah, we're not even
Yeah.
going to bother. And it's
I
just sort
know.
of like, it's obviously a huge boon for the defense where
Right.
you can do that.
Yeah.
But from an entertainment standpoint, you kind of want to watch the player play. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's just a
absolutely.
little selfish of me, but I would like to watch him play.
Do you have any nonsense?
Not really, Doug. Not too much nonsense this week.
It's hard to come up with nonsense during the season. I'm just so busy all the time.
You know what's weird? I went to a concert last week.
Which one did you go to?
So out of my Q zone, it was a little out of my area. I went to My Morning Jacket
Oh.
at the MGM.
Mm-hmm.
It was different than what I'm used to experiencing. You know, very different vibe, I would say. I don't know if I was supposed to be on drugs, but it seemed like maybe that's sort of part and parcel to it because there's a lot of strobe.
Oh.
A lot of strobe, a lot
Not
of
a big
jamming.
strobe guy.
I was impressed. You know, they're very, very good musicians. I would say that whatever their music would be categorized as. I mean, it's rock. It's rock, but there's a little jam to it. There's a little jam bandiness to it. Not necessarily what I would put them in, but it's good to experience different cultures. You know, not everything can be a 2.5 minute, 3 power chord song.
Yeah.
So it was fun.
I actually have to go. The FBI's at my door. They're
Yeah.
arresting me for illegal gambling.
Doing a podcast
kidding.
so apparently there was like a poker ring tied to the mob that Billups was playing in. I would have guessed. So the fact that you have Terry Rozier arrested for gambling and Chauncey Billups arrested for a poker ring tied to the mob on the same day is pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy.
Innocent
very
until
curious to see
proven
what all this
guilty.
comes out of this. I have no idea what's going on with Terry Rozier. Obviously, you don't want to accuse him of anything that he wasn't doing. But have you seen the clip of him? There's a game last year, and he's just like throwing the ball away every possession.
Probably. Now, someone else in the NBA this year got arrested or charged or accused of this and then got cleared, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So there's something to be said, but you do have two former Celtics. People forget Chauncey Billups, not
Celtics draft pick.
Yeah, who was that? Patino got rid of him for.
So, yeah.
Oh, it was a bad trade. Let me see if the internet. Wow, Chauncey Billups, quite a bit on his page. Quite a bit. That wasn't. They didn't get Ron Mercer for him, did they? Traded along with D. Brown, Roy Rogers, and John Thomas to the Toronto Raptors for Kenny Anderson and Popeye Jones. Who could forget that?
That was a short-sighted trade, I would say.
I would agree with you there. I believe Billups ended up working out. Of course, today, not the day to make that point, as he's been arrested for partaking in an alleged mafia-tied gambling ring. That's crazy.
Listen, I mean, obviously, like, there's laws, but you're participating in a. And once again, don't have all the details here. Probably shouldn't even be commenting.
But poker.
If it's strictly just poker within a mafia ring, feels like there's worse crimes than that, right?
Right. I mean, poker is legal in a lot of places. I don't know about Oregon's gambling laws. Maybe there's no legal gambling there, but even still, before there were casinos in Massachusetts, there were poker games at places that were, not illegal. I don't think you could find poker rooms that, whatever, they found ways around it. It just doesn't arrest.
It's one of those things where, like, if it's not illegal everywhere, then it's kind of like, all right. But still, don't know all the details. Could be far worse. FBI's involved. Who knows? But
an arrest though. Arrest seems high. I have a little journalism question for you. This is something I would not have guessed. I have the ABC News story up, and in the headline, they have mafia capitalized. We capitalize mafia?
Apparently. Is that one where everything's capitalized or just mafia?
No.
Interesting.
Portland Trailblazers, Chauncey Billups, mafia are the only capitalized thing. Luckily, I have my AP style book right here. I'm going to check it out. This is a little journalism lesson for the kids. A, talk about stories as they're breaking and you haven't read anything about them. Talk into a microphone about it. Give your opinions, most importantly.
Why is it a proper noun?
Let's see.
I don't think
mafia, capitalized in the AP style guide. Secret criminal organization operating mainly in the U.S. and Italy. A little bit presumptuous there. And engaged in illegal activities such as gambling, drug dealing, and prostitution. Lowercase as a synonym for organized crime.
Oh.
So if you're talking about an actual organization, you can see there, mafia capitalized. Do you know I found this style book on the side of the road at BU? Someone just threw like 20 books on the sidewalk.
Wow.
And I was like...
You were like, I got to have that one.
Well, I had a style book from 2005, which they changed these things. So I have an updated one now. Anyways, that's a little lesson. We've taught people something today.
When I have questions about the AP style guide, I just Google it. It's
not as simple as you would think,
The ones that throw me sometimes are when to include states and then also how to write out the states. On AP style.
You should know that, Doug. Let's be real. You should have that memorized. That's did you or did you not study journalism? I mean, that's like day one stuff. It is interesting how
recently that I was surprised about. I forgot which one it was, but usually it's like you can kind of bank on it being like 4 letters. Sometimes it's 2 letters.
Yeah. Like you got your mass, you got your N.H, but like Colorado, I think is COLO period,
right?
Which is like, that's weird.
Louisiana, I think was just
LA.
Maybe. I don't know if that was the one, but whatever. This is not interesting.
It is. I mean, I love the debates on AP style and writing and like the use of dashes, and it's just you could spend all day doing it.
You could.
We won't. I want to know more about the
former NBA player Damon Jones arrested as well. Today's FBI gambling probe. Well, by the time most people listen to this, they'll have more information than we do.
They'll know more than we do.
But I got to go meet the FBI downstairs.
Yeah, be careful out there, folks. Watch out. If you're gambling with the capital M Mafia, stop it.
Stop. Don't do that.
Knock it off.
On that note, I think we should go.
I want to know more about the Rozier thing because Adam Silver. I mean, this is kind of relevant across all sports, the way gambling is. Adam Silver was asked this week, what can be done to sort of eliminate the temptation or whatever for players to act improperly. He's like, well, we really want to like limit the props available for two-way players. Blah, blah. It's like, I hope that's not your genuine answer, because that is so ignorant to think like, oh, well, this guy has a guaranteed $3 million this year. He would never do anything untoward. And it's like, that's not what it is, sir. So I don't know. It's gotten a little, it's sort of the toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah. If you're on a team that sucks and you can make a lot of extra money, then yeah, it's unfortunate. Patriots have a player who had some gambling issues and he's overcome them. So we'll see if some of these other guys can as well.
You don't know that the username Kayshawn Booty was Kayshawn Booty. It could have been anyone.
Could have been. Yeah.
So
very well could have been.
Be careful.
All right. We're going to get out of here. See you guys on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sunday night.
Sounds
Goodbye.
good. Bye.